So here you are watching coblation adenoidectomy grade 5 in a 9-year-old child. You can see the adenoids are coming into the nasal cavity and therefore we call them grade 5. So I have to debulk the adenoids before I can go on to the boundaries. So my endoscope 4 mm is coming from the nostril and the wand is coming from the oral cavity, which is bent by around 35 to 40 degrees centigrade, by 35 to 40 degrees. And I'm now debulking the adenoid so that I can go till the boundaries. So as we debulk the adenoid, we'll be able to see the superior boundary, and you can see they're extremely large adenoid, completely blocking the choana and coming into the nasal cavity. So I have no space to move the wand, so I am just debulking the adenoid first so that we can create some space and we can define the superior boundary, which is the periosteum below the sphenoid bone. Now that's the superior boundary, which is defined into the anterior part of the superior boundary. Now let me debulk more of the adenoids and then I'll be able to define rest of the boundaries. We have already performed tonsillectomy for this child. Tonsil were also grade 4. So these are the cases where the result of surgery is very, very gratifying, because on the same day of surgery, the child will start breathing from his nose and his sleep apnea will simply vanish. Now, as we have now some space for the movement of the wand, we are now defining the whole superior boundary first, which is the periosteum below the sphenoid bone. Not leave behind any lymphoid tissue on that for a chance of recurrence. And still a lot of scope for debulking first so that I can define the rest of the boundaries. In such an adenoid, it is possible that you require a second wand, because this will not be enough to completely remove the adenoids. We might have to open a second wand and we have to be ready for that. Now, quick debulking of all the adenoids is being performed so that so much of space is created behind the nose into the nasopharynx. So still we are only debulking the adenoids. We have not yet reached the posterior margin or the posterior boundary. We have not defined completely the lateral margin. We are still debulking because there is a huge amount of adenoid tissue present. So this is the torus tuberous here. You can see the eustachian tube. A lot of lymphoid tissue onto the torus tuberous. I'll have to take care of them as well. Let me first debulk the main volume of the adenoid and then I'll come back to you for the boundaries. So this is the adenoid from the left hand side, but since I can see it very well, I'm debulking it. And now you can see this wand, one of the wires is already exhausted because we are ablating at a very high speed. So one of the wires is already exhausted, and that means that I will have to open another wand to complete this surgery because this wand was already utilized for his tonsils, which are grade 4. So that also required a lot of ablation, and that resulted into the consumption of the wand. So the idea is that when the wand stops, ablating, when the hemostasis is not proper, that's the time to change your wand. This is only for the teaching of my junior ENT colleagues. So I'll come back to you. So I'll come back to you in a moment.